probably about 4 or 5 feet.
Just right up on this flat back here?
Yeah.
And how far are we from Cherokee? We're down here in this little cove?
We're probably about a half a mile. He ain't hooked real good.
Oh, nice one. And you said if you catch one, you got a good chance of catching some more
That's
back
right.
here.
I believe there's some fish in here. I've seen about 6 or 8 move, and plus I've seen some bait.
Good.
Fish was hooked pretty good.
I'll tell you what, Larry, we're gonna run a story in the April GON about Larry's April pattern here on Clark's Hill, and I'm gonna grab a couple pictures of you real quick, Larry, if you don't mind.
Nah, ain't no problem.
What is this little flat right here we're fishing?
Brad, we moved probably about 2 creeks down from Cherokee. We fishing on 2 little ditches that come out probably just a tad south of Mosley Creek. And it's got, we call it the double road bed hole. And it's got 2 road beds running across it, plus it's got 2 ditches coming out. So it's a real good place for the fish to move up and feed. And there again, we still fishing basically the same pattern on the edge of flats. Just earlier we fished some bigger flats. Now we're narrowing it down to some smaller flats.
Right. This is a good example here. You can actually see, we're using these polarized glasses, the flats where you can see the sand up there and then it drops off. I mean, we're sitting in...
Oh, they schooling.
They schooling?
Right here in front of us, right on the other side of the road bed.
Oh, good. But we're sitting in 9 feet of water, throwing up there in 2 and 3 feet, and then you see where it drops. It's just a much smaller flat. And you say you've been getting hit right there where it drops off?
Right where the water changes. And also you can see them little dark splotches after we got still coming over the grass too.
That's what that is, the grass, the little dark.
Drill right down about the hook piece.
Larry, we made another run. You said this is one of your techniques. This is Cherokee Creek right here?
Yeah, we're in the mouth of Cherokee. Brad, we're fishing a little ditch. Well, we're actually fishing the flat close to the ditch. We got a blow-through right over there on the right, and then there's a big flat runs out. It's probably maybe 200 feet of it or whatever. It's got a lot of grass on top of it, and the fish have been holding right in there in about 5 or 6 foot of water, but there's been some herring and shad hanging around, and they've been feeding on them.
But this, what we're fishing right here, obviously that's the blow-through, but this is another flat.
Another flat. It's just a real small one compared to what we've been fishing.
So you don't just have to look on the blow-through for fish, you can also just pull back on this flat here.
Right, and that's even when they get on the blow-through strong, because all they'll do is when the bait moves up on those blow-throughs, when the water warms up a little bit more, they'll run up there and feed on them when they're there, and they'll just back off in 4 or 5 foot of water and sit down and wait on some more to come through.
You were telling me you gotta really be running and gunning this time of year?
Yeah, moving, and the more places you hit, the better off you are, because you can, especially early in the morning, if you can catch them feeding, you can catch some big fish quick. Usually you might catch 3 or 4 or 5 in one spot. Just a matter of finding them when they're up there feeding.
But you may hit 6 or 7 spots before you get it.
Might hit 10 or 12.
Really?
Hopefully not.
You were telling me until middle of May you'll be able to find the fish on these flats.
Flats and blow-throughs. See, the lake's really about 4 foot down, so a lot of the blow-throughs are out of the water, but these fish will do the same thing on these long running tapered flats. They'll just move right up on them. In fact, they've been off the ends of them for probably the last 4 or 5 weeks. They just started moving up about a week ago.
Whoa, man, he knocked the fire out of that thing.
Don't let Brad, that spinning rod, you're gonna have to play him.
That's fine.
That's 20-pound test line. He ain't gonna break your line.
Man, I mean, he absolutely knocked the fire out of it. I think this is probably a hybrid too, Larry, but yeah. Whew. All right. Man, that's the second. You just lost a hybrid and picked that one up right there. Man, the way those things pull, you think they're 10 or 12 pounds.
You ain't joking.
Whew, nice fish.
That's about a 3-pounder.
Yeah, that's fun to catch. You see, you about jerked the rod out of my hand.
Wait till you get one 5 or 6, 8 or 10.
And you say these hybrids have just recently moved here towards the mouth of Keg Creek?
They've probably been in here off and on for about the last 3 weeks.
How long will the hybrids stay in here?
Brad, probably till it, all they doing is hanging out around these blow-through areas.
Yeah.
And they'll move. What they'll do is the warmer the water gets, they'll move up on them flats shallower.
Right.
And then,
are they doing the same thing that the largemouth doing here because of the bait?
yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
So they're gonna follow the bait around.
They're gonna follow the bait, that's right.
Man, I love catching a hybrid. Pretty fish. Let's see if we can get us another one, Larry. Whew. How long will this run and gun technique hold?
Oh, well, Brad, to be honest with you, it's gonna hold, and really you get to doing it when the blow-through fish. It'll hold for the next, I'd say 6, 7 weeks, unless you gonna fish for bedding fish.
Right.
If not, you're gonna have to run and jump from flat to flat and point to point or whatever. But this area right here has got a lot of stumps and it's got a lot of rock around it.
Is there any grass here where we're at?
There's a little bit. Not as much as where we've been fishing.
That's a little better fish
That's
right there.
a lot better one.
Man, they are schooled in here at Keg Creek.
I wish that was a bass.
That's gonna be a mama.
Brad, I'm gonna have to follow him.
Man, that's a good fish,
That
Larry.
I can't swear it hit it like a hybrid, but I can't swear that ain't a bass. If it is, it's a big one.
It's fun on this spinning tackle, isn't it?
Yeah. He ain't coming up, and I know it's a good one, whatever it is.
I want to throw out there.
Go ahead, throw over that flat.
I hope he won't run. I'll throw away behind you, because they are really stacked in here pretty thick, aren't they?
Yeah. I believe it's a bass. He done tried to come up.
Spit it out.
That it.
That
I can't tell.
That almost looked like a largemouth for
I
a
know
second.
it. It's striper.
Striper. Ooh,
Hybrid.
that's a big hybrid right there, though.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Man, that's a nice fish. You got a net, or you can get him?
I can get him.
Okay.
Let me get the trolling motor back down. I wish that was a bass.
Man, they just pull so good, don't
They do, especially one that size.
Well, what's a hybrid like that weigh?
That's 8. Easy 8.
Shoot, today we've caught them on these crankbaits more than the largemouths so far. It's fun fishing when you don't know what you may catch.
Oh yeah.
Hybrid, striper, largemouth. Oh, I need to get a,
Yeah,
I'll
that
tell you what,
fish
let me
is-
get a photo of that fish, Larry, if you don't mind.
No, I don't mind.
I'm gonna put that one in the April article we're gonna do about you on your largemouth patterns on Clark Hill. Well, we're gonna mark a few of these flats we're fishing, but I mean, we've hit maybe a dozen already today, and it's, you go in there, throw a few times. If you don't get hit, you move on to the next one.
That's it.
And there's just places like that.
Eventually we're gonna hit one that's got a bunch of them up on it, and they'll be the largemouth variety.
All right. But you just keep running and running and running.
Running and jumping and hitting them.
Somebody that's never fished Clarksville wants to come out here and try to do this. What do you look for? I mean, if there's just thousands of places like what we're fishing today on the lake, is there any one thing you can key in on or recognize? Or
Brad, the main thing is where the bait's at.
Uh-huh.
I'd look for the birds, look for some shallow flats that were close to the channels, you know, as close as possible to deep water. And, you know, just start running from one to another, and eventually you'll hit one that's got fish on it.
Is him or not?
Hey,
There he is. Boy, he hit it right up there on top of it too. I mean, as soon as it hit the water.
good fish.
Nah, he's a fish though, I tell you. Whew, that feels good right there. Hit the old Texas rig that time. But you've had more pick it up with that Carolina rig, you're right. Come here, Joker. All right. Right up on top there, we've seen a few bait fish feeding up there on that flat. And sure enough, the bass are there. Good. Let's get after another one.
I might ought to set the hook. Yeah.
A little better fish right there?
Yeah, that's a better one. Yeah, that's a good fish.
That's what we're after right there. It came off that Carolina rig. About halfway back into Bass Alley.
I thought I was in the grass.
There's a lot of grass in there, isn't there?
Yeah, that's a good fish there.
Oh yeah.
That's what we're looking for.
There you go. Well, there you go now. Was he up there on that flat?
Yeah, he was right up there on it.
A little bit of grass in there.
Yeah.
This right here is a beautiful 3.5, 4 pound Clark's Hill bass we've been trying to show y'all. Larry has come out here and showed us pretty much how to catch fish for next month. We're out here on these flats in areas where fish they're spawning, they're pre-spawning, they're post-spawning, they're feeding. They're going to be moving to the blow-throughs real soon. It's just a great place to catch fish for the next, what, 6 weeks or so?
5 to 6 weeks at least. They laying off on these flats that run out close to deeper water when it's got stumps on them, and I'd say the fish are probably in the 2 to 6, no more than 6 foot of water.
Okay.
And that's the size you should and could catch.
And you can easily come out here and catch quality fish like this.
Yeah.
And they get a lot bigger.
Oh yeah.
So, okay, and using just a variety of baits. So
There's 6 to 8 things they'll hit right now. If you don't find them out there, you can always put the trusty lizard on and fish it from, say, about 8 foot all the way up to about 2 foot. My favorite color is this is a Zoom lizard in the gold green. If we had conditions that were cloudy and the wind was blowing, and we say we had 1 to 2 foot whitecaps, we'd fish the same type pattern, but we'd maybe fish in the pockets a little bit too with a spinnerbait. And this spinnerbait, I like to run a trail on it, which is called a bionic frog, and I just got a hold of some of these, but I really like that little trail on the end of it. It makes a big difference. As the fish come off the beds and start moving up on the blow-throughs, we'll fish what we call a fluke. This is a fluke that a gentleman makes for me out of Alabama. It's got blue with black flakes. It's actually a 2-piece fluke. This is a new crankbait they just came out with. It's called a Pointer, and this is called a ghost color, and it's the best looking color closest to a herring in the water that I've seen they come out with. It'll run about 3 foot deep. You can fish this up to 2 or 3 foot deep on the flats. You can fish it around the blow-throughs. I think it's, like I say, this has just come out, and I think it's going to be a real good bait here on Clark Hill when the fish move on up on the blow-throughs. Just, I think really the middle of the day like this with the water, we don't have any wind back here. I think the lizard, a worm, or possibly a jig would be the thing. That's what I'd use without the wind.
Okay.
And not the crankbait.
All right. Well, the top 6 is going to be back here in mid-April. That's right, isn't it?
Yeah.
And a lot of the stuff we showed y'all today is gonna be the same sort of stuff they're gonna be using to catch fish. We're gonna be back here covering that tournament. So we'll see if it holds up. Beautiful, beautiful fish there. Get her back in the water. She's full of eggs too. There she goes.